Sid here, and welcome to the Drunken Ork. Now what I'm going to do on this video is paint some Ork Boyz. Hey! No, not them ones. Those ones. Boo! I know. They're a little bit divisive, aren't they? The old monopose Ork Boyz. But I thought I'd give them a paint, and I'm going to use something a little bit different to paint them with. So I could keep talking about this, but I think it's probably best if we just, crack on. So this is what I'm going to be using. This is the Army Painter Speedpaints starter set. There's a few colours in here. There's 10 in total. You've got Pallid Bone, Zealot Yellow, Fire Giant Orange, Blood Red, Hive Dweller Purple. Didn't know Hive Dwellers were purple. I suppose maybe Gene Stealers. High Lord Blue, Ork Skin. Interesting to see how this one turns out. Crusader Skin. Maybe it's not as useful for this current project. Hardened Leather. And Gravelord Grey. Not Graveyard, Gravelord. So I'm going to give these a shot. Also got to supplement these a few extras. I've got Holy White and Grim Black. So I figure, black and white, always useful. And I also picked up Dark Wood and Runic Grey because, browns and greys are always useful. So this is what I'll be using. Let's see what I'm going to be painting. Ork Boyz. I've actually got the whole lot, or 10 anyway, from the Start Collecting Ork box set. As you can see, I've already primed them black, and I've given them a couple of coats with an airbrush, a grey, a white grey, and then a white, just to give it a zenithal type highlight. Now I didn't go too heavy with it, or rather I did go too heavy, I didn't go too light, so the colour should show all over, but underneath is definitely darker. See here under the arm, definitely darker than the top of the arm. So I think I'm going to focus on this fella, on the knob to start with, so let's get cracking. So start with a little palette, and we'll start with, I think, a bit of Ork Skin. Let's start on his chest here. I'm trying not to get this anywhere else other than where I want it to go, because with these sorts of paints you can't really paint over them, not without starting again. So you can fix mistakes, but it's not always the easiest. The metallics I will be painting with metallics, so they don't really matter as much. There we go, got some green on, what I would describe as Hulk green, if I'm being totally honest. It's no bad thing. Right, next up, Hardened Leather, and this is for his waistcoat. Okay, so that's his waistcoat done. Oh, let's have a look. What colour pants? Gravelord Grey. See what this is like for his pants. Oh, I like this grey. This is like a nice sort of military fatigue kind of grey. Works well with the zenithal highlighting. Yeah, you see better on his buttocks. Do have some red here. This is going to be for his little cock cloth, dick rag, I don't know what you call it. That's pretty strong. Just while I'm doing this, I will mention that this particular model, what a pain in the arse they are to paint. I am generally a big sort of advocate of sub-assembly painting. I don't enjoy awkward to reach places. So with arms and what have you, if I can't get to them, I'll do them separate. I think that's the best way to go. Yet the way these boys are put together, can't always do that because you've got heads stuck to wrists, shooters welded to arse bits. Normally when I paint boys, I'll have the legs and the bodies stuck together. Then I'll have the arms, 2 arms separate and the head separate. And if there's any shoulder pads and what have you on, they'll be stuck to the body as well. Now paint them all nice and easy, and you stick them all together. A little bit of blue tack, just a little ball just over the gluing point. Then you peel it off at the end, you stick them all together. You don't have to do that, you could just use super glue. But with these I haven't been able to do it. And I'll just grab this fella here. I mean, how the hell am I going to paint that? I am dreading painting that. You're right pain in the arse, isn't it? Anyway, let's try the black on these boots. I say the black. This is a black. I'm not 100% certain if there is more than one black. It wouldn't be too unusual if there was. This black's not too dissimilar to the grey, if I'm being totally honest. And I'm going to put some of this blue, High Lord blue, onto his little pistol bloom. Oh, that's nice. But to be fair, a plume like this, it's going to show any paint lightness off really, really well. It's like what they're made for. And I'm going to try some dark wood, which is one of the ones I picked up separately for the pistol holster on his back. Well, as the name suggests, it's darker, teeny tiny bit pallid bone just on the handle of the slugger, and I might as well do these helmet horns. Oh, he's going to be horns, or are they going to be teeth? Yeah, I think we'll stick them as horns. In which case, I'll try and add a shade more towards the tip, so they're a bit darker. Not a darker brown. Mix a little bit of the original brown in. Damp brush, and just soften the join between the two colours. Oh god. Still a way to go. But, oh, I'll tell you what, I'll use some of this darker brown here. He's got a strap on his pants. Right, so, boots, caps and heel plates will be metallic. Claw metallic, jaw metallic, helmet metallic, slugger and arm metallic, all little bands metallic. Back banner metallic. Everything else is going to be metallic with the exception of this stick bomb handle and some straps. Little skull down there. So we'll pop some of the bone on there. There we go. Little skull hanging off his belt. So I'm sure I'll find more bits I want to do organic with these as I paint the metallics, but I think that's going to be the next step. So I've used speed paint. Basically covered all the model with various colours. You see it's mostly green, some browns and greys. Boots are black. And added a few splashes of colour, like the red cloth and the blue on the fist and the little tassels up here. Other than that, I just used was gunmetal for the metallics and give it a coat of known, and similar I used the gold for the odd little bit like buckles and the blade of the slugger and what have you. It's almost done. I've put some base and stuff on and give that a wash. I just need to dry brush it up. I'll try to clean the base up a bit as well, but it will need to be cleaned up more once I've done the dry brushing on the base. And I think I'm going to go around and add a little bit of colour to the slugger and the claw, just with shades of brown, just to give different metallic feels, because the metallic comes through and it'll just add a little bit more depth to it. I have done the little dags on the shooter in red. Again, just the speed paint on top of the metallics gives them a little bit more of a metallic look. And I used the standard black just to add some hazard stripes to that cable on the back there. But that was painted with the yellow, Zealot yellow. So yeah, let's get cracking with that. There you go. Put a little bit of detail on the shooter and the claw, just to break it up a bit. And yeah, that's it, pretty much done. Not too bad. Now that green is for the orc flesh is not a green that I've got in my orc army. Although I do have several shades of green already, so I'm not too bothered about that not matching. They're not all going to be exactly the same shade of green, the same way that humans don't all come in exactly the same shade either. So I'm quite happy for them all to be slightly different. However, what I think I will try with this fella is I'm going to give him time to fully dry, fully cure. Because I've heard some of these types of paints need a little bit extra time. Once that's done, I'm going to give him a coat of varnish, probably a gloss, or maybe a satin, just to give it a bit more protection. And then I'm thinking I might get some oil paints on it, just give it a big oil wash. I think it'll really sort of muggy it up a bit. And what I normally do is use a black or at least a very, very dark brown on everything except the flesh, which I tend to use a mix of brown and like a magenta, reddy purple on the fleshy bits. But yeah, so there we go anyway. Army Painter Speedpaints. Not too bad. 1 down, 9 to go. Let's see if I get anywhere near that for this vid, eh? So here's a closer look at the models once they've been varnished. I think that's pretty good. I do like the leather. The hardened leather on the waistcoat's lovely. And the skin looks nice as well, but it's not a colour green that I've used before from Orks. That's not to say I don't dislike it. The blue and the red are also very nice. Very bright, almost cartoony, which I don't really shy away from normally. But yeah, the metallics were just metallics. Other than that, all painted with the Army Painter Speedpaints, including the skulls and the horns. The horns are just done with the bone colour, and then use some of the browns to darken the tips of the horns. So that's the boss. We've also got Shooter Boy. There was a lot of green on him. Shirtless freak. Another Shooter Boy. I used the white on his top. Just comes out a very light grey, but yeah, it's quite nice. On this Shooter Boy, his top is yellow, fitting of the bad moons. This unit's going to be pretty much ragtag. There's going to be no uniformity to the colours in them. Still got 5 to paint as well. And finally, the big shooter. Now what I've done with him is I've given him an alternate head, because that pin head that he comes with is quite frankly fucking ridiculous. I've also given him a backpack with some gear. That was, I believe, Cromlech. I think it was Cromlech. And I took the spanner pole off a spanner from the looter's kit, and I just drilled a hole into his shoulder pad and mounted that in. Now the reason I've done that is, just in case I'm not using him as a big shooter boy, I'll be able to stick him in a unit of looters as a spanner. I've got 3 boxes of looters to paint up, and you need 1 spanner for every 4. Now you get a spanner in the box, which is great, but I also want to make 15 burners from those 3 boxes as well, with a couple of spare oak torsos I've got knocking about, so I'll need to have an extra 3 spanners. So thinking ahead. Now these have all been varnished, like I say, with a satin varnish, so you can see there's a little bit of a shine on them. I am going to give them a quick airbrush with a matte varnish at the end, but before I do that I want to put an oil wash on them. This is why I wanted this in-depth look at them now, so we can see what they look like when the blood. There we go. I want to see what it look like before the oil wash, and then we can have a comparison to afterwards as well. So let's get on with the oil wash. Not so fast, matey. We'll have no oil washing here. Not in this video anyway. I'm just going to leave this with the Army Painter Speedpaints, which, as you can see, I have done, and I like them. I do like them. I had a starter kit with 4 additional colours, but the 4 extra ones I got were just black, white, brown, and a different grey. So nothing, it was just to supplement the colours that the starter set came with. There's some really nice colours in there, to be fair. The yellow is a nice bright yellow. The red and the blue are very vibrant. I'm a big fan of those. And the green it's a very nice green, but it's not a green I would normally use for orc skin, if I'm being totally honest. It is bright, but it's a lot darker than I'm used to. So I know they do have different shades of green, so I am going to have a look at those as well and see if I can pick a couple of those up and just see if there's a better mix, or a better match, should I say, for the orc skins that I normally deal with. Although I do paint all my orc skins slightly differently, depending on what mood takes us. So I'm not that bothered, and I'll still be using those orcs with the darker ones, because orcs do come in different colours, as I think I mentioned earlier. I will be doing another video very soon, hopefully, where I'm going to try putting an oil wash on those boys to see what that does, see what sort of effect that has. It should sort of darken them down a bit, grind them up a bit, and yeah, I'm interested to see how that comes out. So keep an eye out for that, and just so you don't miss it, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and also give the bell a little tickle, and that way you'll be notified when the video comes out. Probably, it's not a foolproof system, to be fair, you know what I mean. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. Thanks very much for watching. Until next time, take care.